Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever wondered why everyone talks so funny in those old movies? I can't say that I, for one, ever noticed. How many of those old movies have you really seen? And who is everyone? Cary Grant? When you're talking about the transatlantic accent, is Cary Grant representing all of Hollywood? Perhaps Katharine Hepburn's there too, but we'll get to her in a moment. First, let's talk about what this accent really is. It sounds British, yet there is something distinctly American about it. It's almost as if a long time ago, a bunch of British people got on a boat and came to a new land. Cut off from the rest of England, their speech developed naturally over time until it sounded something a little more American. I mean, really. The transatlantic or mid-Atlantic accent literally means between American and English, so the definition alone debunks it as a myth. If we go back, way back, before Hollywood was even born, there was this thing called the Mayflower. And before a little incident called the Revolutionary War, America was British. Hollywood did not just one day invent this fact to suit Katharine Hepburn. So now let's ask a different question. If the accent is not a myth, where did these rumors come from? And how did we get it into our heads that a huge chunk of American history was something artificially created by the film industry? Well, over the past few hundred years, American speech has had very rapid changes, more than any other country. The immigration brought a wave of many languages, all to the same place. Millions of immigrants had to adapt to this language, but in doing so, the language also adapted to them. Every country has multiple dialects, but America has multiple dialects from multiple countries. So American English has now come a long way from English. But here's where we find the little whispers of truth that make those rumors make some sense. The common folk, the working class people of the United States, the farmers, the factory workers, the barbers, and the grocers, all the rest, did not have time to go to school just to learn how to talk. Their speech was passed to them from their parents and their parents' parents. That is our perception of natural speech development. Now, the rich people, the elites, they perceive speech just like any other thing one had to learn. Reading, writing, the piano. It required schools, teachers, and practice. American high society clung to its British roots for centuries before Hollywood came to rediscover it. Education has always been what separates the elite class from the working class. Part of that education was speech, manners, grooming. Katharine Hepburn was born and raised in upper-class New England. She spoke on and off stage like a lady, because she was raised to do so, not because Hollywood forced her. Cary Grant, on the other hand, was born in England and spent most of his childhood there. But when he moved to America, he picked up a great deal of American speech. So if you actually watch his movies and listen carefully, you'll notice he doesn't really sound like anyone else with the accent in question. Instead, he developed something completely his own and is therefore not really part of this discussion. Now, what really condemns this form of speech as false to a lot of people is that anyone can learn it. What connects Hollywood to this is that a good proportion of Hollywood had learned it. Anyone who wanted to get somewhere in life had to be able to speak well, despite whether they came from a poor background or not. And Hollywood was full of these people because Hollywood was the somewhere to get to. Elocution, the study of formal speaking and pronunciation, grammar, style, and tone. Good speech was never meant to be built up or disguised as an accent. Accents were for the poor, illiterate working class. Good speech was a tool that one could carry to get somewhere, a skill that opened doors to better jobs and better social circles. The chances of a well-mannered, well-groomed person who spoke clearly being hired over others who spoke poorly and were poorly groomed used to be much higher. The transatlantic accent has been around much longer than it has been labeled an accent. Enough about the accent itself, though. While I hold a great deal of knowledge on the subject, I am not a language expert. And I know real language experts have made plenty of videos on the transatlantic accent. Which brings me to a rather fun fact. If you research videos on the transatlantic accent, you'll find that those condemning it as a myth know absolutely nothing about linguistics. They give very little facts, and their videos are designed purely as content, while those claiming that it is a real accent have spent years studying and are actual experts. Now, I, as an expert on old movies, would like to share a few more small facts about the movies that I watch and study, and that this channel is about. When those content creators use examples other than Katharine Hepburn, whom we just discussed, they often make the mistake of using clips from movies either set in England or with English actors. Alan Mowbray, Audrey Hepburn, Reginald Denny, Lionel Atwell, to name a few. They were all British. During the Golden Age, there was a number of British actors in Hollywood. Many were recruited from the stage when the talkies came out. They needed people to be able to speak clearly, not because of their primitive sound equipment, but because clear speech just used to be a bigger deal back then. People also always seem to overlook some of the most iconic American actors from the Golden Age of Hollywood who show no signs of this accent in their speech. Gary Cooper, Jimmy Stewart, James Cagney, Barbara Stanwyck. None of these actors have that accent. They all sound very American. They did not attempt to sound like Grant and Hepburn, nor were they forced to. Anyone who had spent time watching these old movies for real knows there are numerous accents and dialects, more so, in fact, in comparison to today's movies. Alright, thanks for tuning in, everyone. In my upcoming video, I'll have loads more I'd like to talk about. I have some reviews I'll be posting soon, but what I would really love to delve into is just the acting and the directing of these old movies. They have a quality unlike that of today that goes far beyond the camera lens. For those unfamiliar with this film era, you have no idea what you're missing. And for those that do, well, you know.